And really, it felt like a long way back. The moment that Newcastle got on the score sheet in the first couple of minutes, Jaime.
Yeah, I mean, a nightmare start for Leicester, wasn't it? Brilliant for Newcastle. I mean, we saw the reaction of Ruud van Nistelrooy on the side of the pitch. It doesn't feel like this, it's never ending in some ways, is it? But, I mean, when you're coming up against that back five and you've got your winger there, Craig, I mean, how important are those type of runs there? Are they even more vital?
Sorry, which type?
When you're talking about these type of runs here around the outside.
No, they can't be. Like, the numbers here is the most important. So if you're against a back five, preferably would like to create a 6. Now, how I'm able to do that, there's different ways of being able to do it. Maybe in the pocket and then maybe able to go wide. But I need numbers in the box, otherwise you ain't going to be able to score. Now, if it's against a back 4, then you'll try and create the numbers with a 5 maybe, because you want to create that +1. But here as well, you can see the numbers getting into the box. And of course, like we've mentioned, and I never get tired of saying it, like, you wingers have to be on the back post.
Well, before the game, you call this almost the Raheem Sterling position, wasn't it? I think this is Jacob Murphy now on that right side of Raheem Sterling. We talked about Brennan Johnson before the game as well. Just keep your eye on him at the back post.
No, it's like I said, now you see the numbers trying to creep up. Now, if you look at the box now Isaac pulls, maybe he could run near because there's a tap in for him there. But like I said, it's a brilliant cross. But being in the right positions as well, and like I said, with the numbers then creating into the box, that's what you want to have. That's what Newcastle they have the energy and they have the intensity and the speed to be able to turn a mid-block into a transition with numbers into the box. That's what makes them so dangerous.
Jacob Murphy scoring the first goal. He also added the second, and he is waiting to speak to us live from the KP Stadium. Congratulations, Jacob. No wonder you're smiling after another terrific performance from your team and a really good start as well. Was that something that you spoke about, that Leicester City are vulnerable right now, that you could really get this game over and done with in the opening exchanges?
I think that was, the message going into it. Quick start, gain the momentum, knowing if we can start quick and get an early goal, could their fans turn on them, and then that plays into our hands. So yeah, we got off to a good start with a couple of quick fire goals. So yeah, no, it was good.
And I don't know if you heard us there, Jacob, the guys talking about your willingness to really get in on that back post where you're getting opportunities, you're getting chances to score. How important is it that you do that? Is that something that is coached into you, or a natural instinct?
We always talk about box occupation. Can we flood the box? If you can see there how many players that we have in the box, and it really does make it difficult to defend. So yeah, it was actually tricky because there's so many blue shirts in front to get a contact on it. So yeah, I saw it really late, but yeah, I got my foot on it.
Nice tidy finish. The second one was different, wasn't it?
My heart's still going as well.
Was that because of the touch?
Yeah, I thought I was clean through if Fabi had passed it, and then he didn't, and then I don't know what made me follow it in, but yeah, I followed it in, and then as it's hit off the bar, I was thinking, do I just first time finish? And then it came back, felt like it came back really quickly, and then look at that, that's horrible. But yeah, no, it was a bit scary when it came back, because yeah, I was thinking first time finish or control it. And then, by the time I controlled it about 7 times, I just saw my feet out and score.
Jacob, in the 2 goals that we've looked at, I mean, we're looking at real classic wing play, really. We've got Craig Bellamy here just on the side. I mean, before the game tonight, we've been talking about Brennan Johnson scoring at the back post, we've been talking about Raheem Sterling, how many goals he got in the past at Manchester City in that area. And I just think of those 2 goals, the back post finish, as we like to see, all wide men. Now, the actual one, as you said, you're trying to get onto the pass. That's a really important run, isn't it? You think of sort of the great wide players of the Premier League, making that run from outside to in, penetrating forward. Obviously, Shah goes for the cross. I mean, how much work goes into that as a wide player? Not just yourself, but at the club with Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon also.
I think obviously it ties in with your patterns of play, and then just combinations, knowing obviously the ball doesn't come directly from one of our players, but yeah, just the relationship and combinations, knowing that once someone, with passing range like that gets their head up, that's when you set off and you're on your bike. So yeah, being a wide player, it's full throttle, lots of movements, lateral movements, checks to get in behind. So yeah, there's a lot of different components to find space and beat your opponent without the ball. And I think that's vital for all wingers to play at the top level. You can't just dribble all the time. There's got to be other components to it.
And Jacob, these numbers are really stacking up for you now. 2 more goals tonight. And since you really got back into the team early in December, 7 goals, 7 assists. I think you can see this as well now. Only Mo Salah and Alexander Isak have actually got more goal involvements than you have. I said myself, Jacob, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I said I felt you were in the form of your life. How would you sum up where you are right now?
I'm exactly where I need to be, at the back post, tapping it in, and contributing for my team. So yeah, no, it's always nice to put up numbers, to score. I love assisting, and then yes, the defensive side as well, which I really pride myself on. So yeah, it's a combination of everything. If I can always add value every game that I play, regardless of what the numbers say, I'll always be content.
Jacob, we've been talking about tonight. You were fantastic, but we can't forget what happened a few weeks ago at Wembley, and what happened with you and the team lifting that trophy, first trophy in 70 years. I mean, how's it felt to be in the city, part of the club, and knowing that the legacy that you'll all have as players and management and staff of sort of legends going forward as the team who brought that first trophy back? I mean, what's the buzz been like in Newcastle?
The buzz has been unbelievable. I don't know if you managed to see any of the images of, the bus tour and stuff like that, but it was honestly out of this world.
I was trying not to watch.
Yeah, I think we were out that night, Jacob.
I was talking to everyone else but you, Jamie, sorry. But no, it was such a great day, and yeah, you can see why the greats get addicted to winning trophies. The feeling it gives you. You do have a high when you've won it, but then coming back now that we're back training, playing games again, it's like, no, want that again for next season. So yeah, it was an unbelievable journey, one that we're really proud of, and we want to keep striving for better, and we want to taste it again.
Well, so just finally, Jacob, on that, how much desire and drive and ambition is there within the squad, now you've had that taste of glory, to finish this season in style again and play another season of Champions League football?
Hugely important for us. We can see other English teams doing really well in the Champions League this season, and we've had a taste of that last season. So yeah, we've got 8 games to go now. No other distractions other than each game, and yeah, I think we can really put a challenge up to the teams in and around us, because it's super tight at the moment. One game week it can all change. So yeah, we need to keep the momentum and keep the pressure on, and then we'll see where we are.
Jacob, keep doing it. Keep getting those numbers chalked on the board, and congratulations on tonight. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Here is, I forgot a duty, an important duty. I'm going to reach in and give you a Player of the Match award. There it is. Well done, Jacob. Congratulations.
Cheers.
What a great smile, and what a great contribution he is making to this Newcastle team right now. He said himself, you can see how much he is loving every second of this journey right now, Craig.
He's been outstanding, and he has. Do you know what I like about him? You can see he's an outstanding professional. Now he's had to fight hard for his place, but you can always. I don't know, you had something about him, even bits you see him when he comes on, he always has an impact. If he starts, I always felt he's had an impact. But this run now to me, shows the dedication to your profession. Now, it's not always easy, you're not always starting, but what's your attitude like? And you can see he's been given the opportunity due to 1 or 2 injuries, either suspensions, but are you able to then take that on yourself? And he has, and credit to him, he must have an incredible attitude. I don't know him personally. But he's been an outstanding player, and he's been a big reason why they're on a charge now to the Champions League.
I think there's something in front three. Is that this? Someone mentioned this to me a few months ago, and it probably rings true a little bit with Newcastle. When you think of Newcastle's front three, you think of the stars as maybe being Isak and maybe Anthony Gordon. Certainly what he did last season and at times this season as well. Harvey Barnes is doing really well. But Jacob Murphy's almost that worker, and sometimes you need that player for the other two as well. I don't know if you think there's something in that. You know, you think of even like Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez. You think of the way Rooney used to do for sort of Ronaldo. Still a great player, by the way. You think of Firmino for Liverpool. So it's not always a wide player. So you think of Mane and Salah making those runs for, but Firmino doing that sort of work. You almost can't have three absolute superstars. You've got to have that one who's almost mindful of the team. Is there something in that? Was you that type of player?
No, I agree with you.
Were you the superstar?
No, I certainly wasn't that, Jamie. We both know that. But what I like, this is the strongest part of what Newcastle are. They all work. They can all run. You know, Gordon's incredible. His intensity of being able to work back as well as go forward is outstanding. Isaac's, his numbers are off the scale. Even when, because we were conscious of it and playing against these type of profiles even last year, but they do not give you a second. They are pressing. If you then beat the press, they're able to get back, hunt you from there, but also when to break forward in transition. They're quality 1v1s. They are beyond a handful, and you know they have different ways they can go and attack you as well. So, you know, Newcastle's really dangerous in the front.
I love Jamie what he said, by the way, about his involvement in this goal. But we almost saw one of the classic Premier League goals here, 55 yards out.
We did. But Craig's just talking about they've got the ball. There's a transition. It's a turnover. Now, OK, we're looking at Shaq, but right now, Jacob Murphy doesn't think he's going to shoot. This is what you're talking about, isn't it, Craig? The difference is when there's a turnover, the transition now, and this is what teams can't cope with. You've said this for yourself in terms of when they come up. Look at him, he's on his bike, his head's down, he's not even thinking Shaq's going to shoot. He's thinking, I'm going to be an on goal, isn't he?
Yeah, but they do it in different stages as well. Like, defensive foot, like they go into a 4-3-3 press, and in mid-block, defensive bit, they go into a 4-5-1, but the wingers are always able to release. And what you see there, like Leicester were very naive, and straight balls, very difficult. Vardy, then you have, like I always say, straight balls have got to be a setback, but he didn't have options because they weren't surrounding the ball. Fullbacks too high. You're asking for trouble against this type of team. Now, of course, Shaq goes and it's an incredible strike and it's a crossbar, very unlucky to score, but I feel Leicester led to their own downfall as well.
But doesn't he get his reward? He gets his reward now.
He didn't know why he kept on running.
No, but he gets his reward because he's thinking, I'm making a penetrating run, I'm going to be put through on goal. Listen, he gets a little bit of luck, hits the crossbar, comes back down to him, but he gets his luck because of the reward for the high intensity runs that, you know, Craig's been speaking about all night.
As he told us, it came back quicker than he expected as well. I love the honesty though.
No, of course. The first touch wasn't great. Second touch was worse, but he made up with the third. You see what I mean with those? You need that bounce. You need to be able to play that bounce very quick. Straight balls. These defenders are too good.
We were wondering what he was doing at the time. What a hit.
Oh, incredible. You have to feel for him now.
That was the furthest out on record.
And you could see even the players gathering round him, ready to celebrate with him. It's like, oh no, yeah.
It's the furthest on record, furthest distance on record that a player has actually hit the woodwork in the Premier League.
Yeah.
55 yards.
Really?
Shot. Yeah.
3-0.
Well done, Jacob. Let's have a look at the third goal then. Harvey Barnes.
Listen, Harvey Barnes is he's not as good as Anthony Gordon. That's why more often than not he's on the bench. Anthony Gordon's obviously got an injury from the England game. But one thing Harvey Barnes always gives you in this Newcastle team is goals. I feel like every time he plays, whether it's off the bench, he always nicks you a goal.
Yeah, he's just another player that, like, do you know he's a Newcastle player?
Yeah.
You can see what Eddie, since he's been there, the type of players he's looked to bring in, and he fits straight into that. And I agree, Anthony Gordon, I believe, is an incredible footballer.
Craig, I mean, I keep going back to a lot of things that you've said and the problems you felt that you had at Burnley. So you've been speaking about the power and intensity of Newcastle, where you're saying everyone gets back. So let's look at this team now, this Newcastle team.
But even if you stop there, yeah.
So, OK, the centre forwards high up, you've got Isak here. But you're going from a really deep block, and before you know, what are you talking, 7 or 8 seconds, they're in your box.
Yeah, but also, look how many players they've got on the highest line. Now, we can always see that as a threat, but if you lose the ball, Now that's
You're talking
why
about Leicester.
That's Leicester. Sorry, my fault. Now that's why I really enjoy players being in certain areas. Now some might call it robotics, some might call it. I understand.
Overcoaching.
But I don't believe there is, because the simple fact is, if you lose the ball, you're in contact to go win it back straight away. Now, if you've got players then joining the next line, as soon as you lose that ball, the option to be able to, for the opposite team to be able to, get the transition going, you're very vulnerable.
Can I ask you a question? Because we keep talking about what you need to alter when you come from the Championship to the Premier League. You've been through that. And people talk about changes if, you go from a football team to playing long ball football. That's for me, that's not right. Yeah. But is it things like this where if you were in the Championship and you'll dominate the game, you could afford to have 4 players on the last line? Where then you come into the Premier League thinking, hang on, no, we need one of those players actually in a position here. So we can't afford to be... Does it work like that in terms of the numbers, in terms of being on the front foot?
Yeah, no, but for me, I'd want to play there. I don't know if he's able to. Yeah. I'd want to play there, so you're able to spread it out. But these things, you can always probe. You can maybe get rid of what Carragher's one just done as well. But at the same time, you're trying to control the position. You're trying to control the game. Now, in order to be able to, then narrow. Now we're going to have to go wide and maybe come back. But what I like with players respecting their roles, it's not because, we might have to keep the ball, we might have to be able to, we want to go centrally, but if we don't, then we can go wide. But the key factor is, what's the worst case scenario? Everything, like I said, it always goes back to, we want to score. But make sure we're in a good position that we don't concede then either. So that's why we talk about, people might see it as robotic. It's not, I want to win the ball as quick back as possible as I can. So if players respect your positions, now it doesn't matter. A fullback could be out wide. It could be a fullback in the pocket. It doesn't matter, but respect your role, because that's more important, that as soon as we lose it, we're able to win it back.
Just look how quickly, you keep talking about transitions. I think it's a big part of the game. It always has been.
It is.
It feels like it's getting more and more. I keep hearing, certainly teams who come up talking about transitions, and we see how quickly Harvey Barnes has gone from one area to another, 5 or 6 seconds.
They never get set, do they, Leicester? They never get organised in the back here.
It's never a future. Now in the Championship, you will get away with this. Leicester's speed will be more than enough for what the Championship's going to offer. Premier League speed, it's a completely different ball game. Trust me, it's not even, you can't compare the both. Now, what you'll get is the simple fact of, these boys don't miss. They don't. Now, maybe they shouldn't do, because 50 million on him, 25 million on him, 30 million, they're buying what they're buying. But at the same time, the quality and the athletic profile of what they have, the difference, we can go on all day, but the difference between the Premier League and the Championship, it's a huge gulf.
Cup, as we spoke about before, was a huge moment in the history of the club and that particular part of the North East. But in the back of your mind, is there also a danger when you achieve something like that? It's, can we now go on and push on from there? Have your team shown that they've got that ability to go on and kick on now?
Well, I think you make a great point, because there was a worry when we won the cup competition that suddenly we'd drop. Just a subconscious feeling that you've achieved a massive high, and then there's a fallout from that. So the big challenge we laid to the group was, can we go again? Can we put that aside, not forget it, remember it, but forget it sort of in terms of influencing our performances. Take the confidence from the cup final and how we played, and they've done that really well. We've gone back to the Premier League, we've won 2 tough games, and now we have 3 tough ones in a week coming up.
There's still a long way to go, and there's still a big battle ahead. But if you do achieve this target, Eddie, transitionally for the club, having won that trophy, what does that mean looking forward?
Well, I think it would mean a great deal to us on so many various levels. I think it's difficult to think too far ahead and to think of the implications. We've just got to do our jobs, and that's to try and win the remaining games.
Just finally, Manchester United coming up next, live with us also on Sky. We saw you rotate with the subs tonight, but particularly Alexander Isak. He's really crucial to you, clearly. Are you going to have to manage him through these remainder of the games to ensure that he's there for you when it counts?
I think he's 100% fit. I wouldn't have taken any risks with him tonight if he wasn't. It was an opportunity to rest him with the game in a good position for us. But no, I don't think we'll have to manage him from this point onwards. Fingers crossed he'll be fine.
Well done, Eddie.
Thank you.
Very happy with the night's work from his side. This is what it looks like then in the race for Champions League football next season. Others could come into this mix, but for now, this looks like the 5 main protagonists, with Nottingham Forest in pole position, a 4-point advantage over everybody else, and 6 of their last 7 against bottom half sides. I say that's an advantage for them because they've played 14 games against bottom half sides so far, Forest, this season. They've won 13 of them. So they've been very efficient and ruthless in that perspective. Chelsea have got some tough games, certainly towards the back of the season. Newcastle United next up, Manchester United and Crystal Palace at home before they go to Villa in what looks like a really tasty matchup. They also have to play Chelsea and Arsenal. City have a fairly gentle finish, depending on where Bournemouth and Fulham are by that stage of proceedings, because they could still muscle their way into this. And Aston Villa, a point further back right now. Well, they've got to play Newcastle, Manchester City, Fulham, Bournemouth, Spurs and Manchester United. It doesn't look easy for them, with also Champions League and FA Cup to navigate. So how are you going to call it, Craig? Remember, it's top 5.
Yeah, I know it's top 5. Newcastle, what we've seen tonight, and also momentum of just winning their first cup in a number of numerous years. So I don't know. I got a feeling in Newcastle. Man City are usually in this hunt to win leagues, so it's not uncommon for them to be at like this precious stage at this stage of the season. And Villa. I got a funny feeling with Aston Villa with the Champions League, I really do. I felt it in September. The manager's experience at this level of a tournament, and the way they're organised, they have real power for that tournament.
You've got a funny feeling. You think they could actually win the thing?
I honestly, I felt of all the British teams, Aston Villa's the one to watch out in this tournament. I don't know. Because of the manager. Because of the manager, and they have players. They have real quality. Look, would we all like to see Forest? We all have a soft spot for Forest. I grew up in the 80s, Carragher. How could we not? Brian Clough, who's just... Forest is a special club for all of us, and because of that man. So would it be a great story for them? Of course it would. But my feeling is towards Newcastle, Man City and Aston Villa.
Chelsea to miss out.
I think
it could be the scenario where Craig gets the Forest and Newcastle, Man City in there, and Villa winning the Champions League, and all of them are playing in it next season.
I mean, looking at those fixtures, and Newcastle have still got a game in hand. I think it's Crystal Palace there. A game possibly on paper you'd expect them to win. I think Nottingham Forest will just do it. I think Chelsea will miss out. I think they've got the toughest fixtures. I think Newcastle will make it. And I think Manchester City will just make it as well, because I look at those last 4 fixtures and I look at Manchester City's there, and I think you'd expect them to win all 4 of those games, even if the troubles that they've had this season. So I think in that running as well, they'll just do it. And I think Aston Villa still got the FA Cup, still got 2 Champions League games at least. We'll see. So I think Aston Villa will just miss out. So for me, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle and Man City to make it.
Some really tasty head-to-heads along the way as well. And, of course, these are the kind of fixtures that Ruud van Nistelrooy has experience of playing in, but not at this stage of his career of coaching English sides in. It's been a struggle for him in the Premier League, hasn't it, with Leicester City. He's giving his reaction to another defeat. 8 on the bounce with David Craig.
Ruud, clearly it's another unpleasant night for everybody involved with the football club. Give us your observations on that 90-plus minutes.
Yeah, it's clear where it went wrong very early in the game. Again, I have to say, unfortunate. And then after 10 minutes and I think 30 or 33 minutes, we lost the game. And that's a tough one to take.
Particularly with the first goal. You've got 5 defenders there. Is it a preventable goal from your perspective?
Yeah, I think if we look at the 3 goals carefully, I think we could have done better ourselves in all 3 goals. You can see the duel that we miss and the back post where we were in a good position but don't clear the ball. The second and the third, we lose the ball in positions where we can't lose it. And then Newcastle is deadly in the counter attack and they finished off the game very quickly.
You spoke, as you did to us before the game, about passion and commitment. With the second goal you concede, the ball comes off the crossbar, and there appears a lack of reaction from your players. How worrying is that? And what do you put that down to?
No, what is worrying is, of course, the run of form, the lack of goals, the lack of results we can produce, and trying different things, different structures, different players in different positions, and the results are not there, and that's the worrying thing.
It's the fourth time in the row you've played the same team. You resisted the attempt to change. Is that because you believe that starting 11 is the best you have? Or you just don't sense you have the options elsewhere?
No, of course, but looking over the course of the last months, we try different things and different structures and different ways to play with different personnel who suit those structures, and you want to give that a chance as well, and that's what we try to do. If you keep changing every week, then of course you can't see that progress. But of course it's very worrying.
It's the first time for 48 years since Sunderland did it that a team in the top flight in the same season has gone 8 games without scoring. You're a striker yourself. You know what it takes to score goals at the highest level. What can you do to change these players' mindset?
It's difficult. It shows. It shows. I mean, it's a confidence thing. In the second half, you can also see when there's no pressure anymore in the game to play, it frees people up, and then you see some reasonable football going forward. But okay, when the pressure's on to win games, to stay in games, then it becomes very difficult. And then with an early couple of goals, and then it collapses.
Difficult for the players, but how also difficult for you? It can be a lonely place out there. How hard is it to manage in this situation? The fans, obviously, you saw a lot left the stadium, a lot of booing. Yeah. It must hurt your pride. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Of course, it's difficult. You come here to do well and work together with great people here at the club and the players. And of course, when you can't get results, that is very disappointing. The intent has always been there to bring the club further. The club is the most important thing, and what's best for the club is you always have to consider, and that's, I think, the place where we are now.
I hope you will understand my next question. It's a difficult moment for this club with a proud tradition. Do you sense that you have it within you to change the shape of it this season, whatever the outcome of that may be? Do you still have the fight within you and the want to go on with this project?
You know, this is a difficult night, especially also in the run of form that we're in. It's important to analyse this and sleep on it and recover from it, and that's it for now.
Are there questions in your mind when you say you have to sleep on it? Are there questions?
No, there's no questions. It's just dealing with this setback, another one, and that's for now what I can say.
Really appreciate your honesty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Harvey, that's 4 games unbeaten in all competitions now. Is this a team playing with real momentum at the right time?
Yeah, it's the way it feels. I think we're going into games at the minute feeling confident we're going to win, and that's the mindset we need for the rest of the season. Now we know we've got a lot to play for, and we just got to keep this run going.
Winning the Carabao Cup made it a great season for Newcastle, changing that history. But how much of a bigger season does it become if you achieve the goal of Champions League football?
It's huge, yeah. Obviously, that was one of our main aims this season was to win silverware, which we've done. But we made it quite clear after that we need to reset. There's a lot to play for, and we've started that period afterwards really well with 2 wins. So we've obviously had the joy of that, but we don't want the season now to finish on a downer by missing out. So we're fully focused on this.
A lot of what you're trying to achieve is all about mindset. Other teams are obviously trying to achieve the same. How difficult is it to come here tonight and make sure that the focus is 100% on?
Yeah, it's tough, but I think that's something that we really pride ourselves on is not having them slip-ups. You know, we know that this Leicester team's been struggling, so we had to come here with full focus and not let ourselves sort of slip down or have a lack of concentration. And I thought we did that. I don't think we're at our best tonight. I would say that, but I think we got the goals at important times, and then the game got a bit scrappy, but it's a great result.
Perhaps, as you say, not at your best, but did we see the ruthlessness of Newcastle tonight?
Yeah, like I said, I think the goals came at good times. That early goal gives the team such a boost. But as I said there, I'm sure that the team will look back, and I think we certainly weren't at our fluid best tonight, and be included in that. But we got the goals at the right times, and being 3-up in a game, it's a comfortable game then.
You have the games in hand. This is one of them tonight. You've got others to come. Manchester United, followed by Crystal Palace at home. How important was it you threw down your marker, though, tonight and made your statement?
Yeah, we know we're in a good position in the table. And, it's cliche, but all we can do is our job and win the games that we've got left. If we do that, we finish in the top 4 or 5. So, we know what we have to do, win the games, and hopefully then the teams are chasing us and we're not chasing them.
Harvey, well done.
Thank you.
Well, he handles the questions with a smile. Is there a logic for him to continue in this job with 7 games to go?
Not really. No, I mean, you look at what Southampton have done. Probably as soon as it becomes official that Leicester City have gone down, we know that's imminent. I'm sure they will make a change, because you have to start planning for next season in the Championship. I don't think Ruud will be the manager there. I don't think you would expect to be so, really. And yeah, I mean, listen, when the appointment was made and Steve Cooper lost his job, Steve Cooper was an experienced manager, and also been in the Premier League, kept Nottingham Forest up one season, lost his job halfway through the next season, came in, a difficult start, but an expected start. You're a promoted team, not going to find it easy. They weren't actually in the relegation zone when they changed the manager, but I could understand it, that when Leicester came up, they've only been in the Championship for one season. Won the Premier League in 2016. They've probably got the best training grounds in the country. The whole infrastructure of that club is a Premier League club. So when they come up, yeah, it's not going to be easy. But I don't think that's a club who would have expected to go down as meekly as they have.
There's just been a lack of investment. That's what the fans would say. Having sold their best player coming up in Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, there's been no direct investment into the team really beyond that.
Maybe. Listen, supporters will know their team better than me, but sometimes I'm not just talking about individual players, I'm talking about the sort of a mentality of a club. And I speak about Luton coming up last season or Ipswich coming up this season. They don't feel like a Premier League club. In some ways, they might not feel like they actually belong there. I think with Leicester, there's almost that feeling that we are a Premier League club, we're supposed to be here. The supporters expect to be in the Premier League. No one's got a divine right, I'm not saying that, but there's something not right when you see Leicester come up about the club, whether it's the decisions they've made managerial-wise, whether it's investment in the squad. Something is not right at that football club to put in a performance like that this season. Yet we're talking right the way through the show. Craig talked about Burnley coming up and the difficulties that you have. But I mean, for Leicester to perform how they have done this season in the Premier League has been embarrassing. What
would be your observation, Craig? We're watching one of 2 former Premier League players who are Premier League managers. The other is Mikel Arteta, who's at the other end of the table. Ruud van Nistelrooy is finding himself in new territory really here. What's your observation about the way he's actually handling this moment?
I definitely feel for him. I feel he handles the media quite well under very difficult circumstances. I don't believe he could have ever thought it was going to go this bad. I do believe it was always going to be a fight for Leicester. I didn't feel for one second it was going to be this tough. Because they do have Premier League experience. They went down with a good squad. They were in a Championship with a good squad. Now, of course, they lost 1 or 2 players this season, but they invested as well, not as much as maybe what people would like and maybe what you're used to with teams getting promoted, because now it takes a lot of money to be able to stay in that division, but they probably felt they had enough. They made a change, I felt, at the time a bit too quick. And now it's it's inevitable that they're gonna be getting relegated, and it's a shame to be able to say that because they did win the league in 2016. They also won the FA Cup after that as well, and there's few players in that squad that already have won that FA Cup as well. So it's there needs to be a change, and it needs to happen quite quick as well over the summer.